Hey party people. We don't review duffel bags a lot on this channel. I'm typically more of a backpack and sling guy. That's really where a lot of my interest lies as far as bags and travel gear. But this is a really awesome duffel bag. It's a really beautiful, well-designed premium duffel bag. So if price matters to you, this may be a little bit out of your wheelhouse. It's kind of on the higher end of pricing. It comes in at $350 US, which I think is a lot to pay for a duffel bag. But let me just go over its form, its functions, as well as its materials, and we can talk about its price point and whether we think that's a fair price point or not. This is the System Duffel from a company called spclst, and it has kind of a stylized brand name, so it's SPC /LST or spclst. And they make a lot of what they call person-built gear. That's a trademark term, person-built, and they're saying that they make purpose-driven, high-quality, super durable gear with a lifetime warranty, so they stand behind it. So again, if we're talking about that $350 price point, you have to keep in mind that it does have a lifetime warranty. This item is called the System Duffel, and I got it in the black colorway. It also comes in Ranger Green. It's made from a 600D EcoPack EPLX 600 recycled Cordura fabric. It combines sustainability with durability, and it's very weatherproof, scratch and rip resistant. Even though this bag weighs a little bit more than I would usually want in a travel bag, the actual materials feel pretty lightweight for their durability level. And when I say this weighs a little bit more than what I'm typically used to, it weighs in at 2.47 pounds. So it's 2.5 pounds-ish. It's a little bit heavy for what I typically travel with, which is usually a personal item sized backpack, which is usually around under 2 pounds. But it's not super heavy. It's still under 3 pounds. But yeah, just keep that in mind if you're kind of a lightweight traveler, that this is a little bit heavier than you would usually get. But for that weight, you're getting a lot of extra durability and weatherproofing. Crazily enough, this thing has a 55-liter storage capacity. So I could basically fit my entire body in here. Not really, but I could probably fit a medium-sized animal or a small baby. The laptop sleeve on the inside accommodates a 13-inch laptop, which I think is pretty interesting because based on the size of this bag, I feel like you could fit a 20-inch laptop in here. It's gigantic, sort of. So I don't know why they settled for a 13-inch laptop sleeve. I feel like they could have gone a little bit bigger because of the size of this overall bag, but it is what it is. I mentioned the external material. It has this nice black, sleek profile. It's very minimal. I love the logo here. I don't even know if this picks up on camera without like lighting directly on it, but it says SPC-LST, and it has some product information below it. And it has that kind of nice, super modern, but industrial look to the logo here. I think it looks really cool, actually. I love the way that this is a super minimal bag. It looks very modern and techy. It's kind of like one of those bags that you would use to flex on people because it's just this really sexy, premium, nice-looking, minimalist bag. You have these nice riveted handles, and they're super high quality. So they're genuine leather handles. They probably patina really nice over time. They feel super durable, and they're very stylish and kind of fit in with the vibe of this bag. And then they're also riveted down here, so it gives them some extra durability and also kind of that stylized way that it looks very industrial. Then you have these two little buckle points at the top here, these little metal pieces, and they fit into these holes on the top here. So if you want to push the handle sides together, you can just kind of push them together with this little mechanism here. And it's pretty nice looking, feels nice in the hand. I really like these handles. They're very simple, but they're super stylized and they fit into this like premium, minimalist kind of industrial aesthetic of this bag here. Then also on the external of the bag, you have this magnetic closure for this external pocket here. And that's actually a really cool pocket. It has this bright orange interior so you can see the gear inside. It's got a little clip for keys or a multi-tool or something. It's kind of just a cheap little plastic clip. I would have preferred a little bit higher quality clip on the inside and maybe a slightly longer lanyard. But you know, it does its job for what it is. Then I don't know if you can see this on camera, but there's actually two little slip pockets on the inside here too that are that nice orange color. So if you had like battery backup chargers or your phone or wallet and you wanted to put it on the external of the bag and you weren't worried about it just being a magnetic closure, you have that option. You have a little bit of interior volume there. And then when you have it all loaded out, you can just magnetically close it, and it keeps it really flat and nicely profiled. And it's a powerful enough magnet where it feels pretty secure, but I still wouldn't personally trust myself to put something like my wallet or cell phone in here because it's just a little bit scary to think about that falling out accidentally. This bag is all the same material, whether it's the bottom, the sides, the top, or anything like that. So it looks really nice, really high quality, really durable, and it also gives it that minimalist vibe. And then the thing that's crazy about this bag is if you look on the side, you have this little carabiner here, and you can unclip it, and you actually have these little loops. So there's a little loop down at the bottom, a little loop at the top, and then there's a loop in the middle here as well. That's kind of like a little counter pull point, so you can kind of pull it out. But if you unclip it and pull it out, and then you have the same carabiner setup on the other side, and you can pull it out. This actually just becomes this like oversized giant tote bag. Look at this thing. It's absolutely enormous. So to me, this use case would be if you're carrying a garment, like something like a tux, or you need to bring a suit and you're traveling long distance. You would not be able to fit this in like a carry-on or under a seat. Obviously, this would have to be a checked bag, or if you're traveling by car or train or something, you may be able to make it work. This could also fit art supplies if you're an artist. It reminds me of one of those giant art bags where you have these huge canvas prints on the inside. But yeah, this bag is crazy how it modularly transforms into this giant oversized tote. You could use this as a beach bag and fit absolutely everything you want to bring for a family of 25 in this freaking thing. It's gigantic. But it's kind of cool, and I like it as a design. I don't know necessarily how that would be useful for me as a person, but it's just cool that it exists, and it's kind of an innovative design. So I do actually kind of like it, even though its usefulness is very limited for someone like me who is a more minimal traveler. I just think it's kind of cool. And then if you want to squish it back down, you kind of just push it, and then almost like you would fold a present that you're wrapping, you just kind of take these two little corners, and then you clip it together like that. And then the same thing, you take this other side, and you kind of push it down like that, and you clip it together. Just kind of flatten it back out, and it's back in its duffel bag form. And then in its duffel bag form, it measures in at almost 24, so like 23.75 by 11 by about 11 inches high. So because of the size of this, that's also what limits its use cases for me. As I've mentioned before, I'm typically a personal item only traveler, so that really restrains the type of backpacks and bags I can bring on a flight. But this is even oversized for the overhead compartment because the 23.75 inch dimension is a little bit above the 21 that most airlines have. So you could probably squish it down if you underpacked it a little and make that dimension fit within and kind of like squish it in the overhead. But I don't really like bringing bags that go over the dimensional limits of airlines. Maybe I'm just a stickler for that, but I just don't want to have to worry about ever checking a bag. I never, ever, ever want to check a bag. So I try to go above and beyond when it comes to staying within limits so that I don't have to worry. It doesn't have that anxiety of like, am I going to have to check my backpack? Worry about the straps getting effed up. Like, I just don't want to worry about it. So I stay within limits because it gives me peace of mind. And now, because we measured it that way, let's see how it measures in when it's unfolded. And how this crazy huge tote bag that looks like it's made for a giant. So let's squish it down. So this comes in at 32 by 23-ish. And you know, it's about an inch to an inch and a half thick. So this is an absolutely gigantic tote. If you're going to use it as a tote, I'm not sure exactly who would use this. I mentioned all the use cases I could think of, an art school student with giant prints, or if you were going to use this as like a beach bag, or if you just wanted to store stuff in your car for camping or very large items or something like that, maybe this would work, or a garment bag for like a giant suit or a tux or multiples. So besides that, I don't know who would really use it in this form. I think it's more of just a cool curiosity than anything else. And then, like I said, we'll go through this again. It's easily clipped back together to put it into its more usable duffel bag form. Just go like that. Same thing over here, kind of stretch it out. Clip it together. And then it's back in its duffel bag form. So because it's so formless, I think you may be able to get away with using this as a carry-on and putting it in the overhead compartment, because you could kind of like jam it in, like I said, underpack it, or like mash it around so that it fits into the overhead. I don't think they would give you a lot of guff about it, but your mileage may vary. And then when it comes to the interior of the bag, you have this really nice zipper on the outside. It's a double zipper here. They are YKK zippers. You can unzip it here. And the interior of the bag has that nice bright orange color so you can see the gear inside. On this side closest to me, you have a zipper compartment for your laptop. Like I said, it holds up to a 13-inch laptop. I wish it was slightly bigger. I wish it would hold up to like a 16-inch laptop, but 13 is fine. And my laptop that I bring, if I even bring a laptop, which isn't very often, is only my 11-inch Chromebook, so it would fit easily in there. You could also use it just to store other stuff if you're not bringing a laptop. Then, on either end, you have a nice stretchy water bottle pocket. This could easily fit one of those 1-liter Nalgene's. It's very big. It's deep enough that it would keep it in place. And then you have one on this side as well. And then if we flip this bag around, you can see that you have two little black mesh zipper pockets on this side. And they go the full length, so you could consider them to be, you know, like 11 or 12 inches deep. They're super deep. They have a really high quality stretchy mesh. They have the nice YKK zippers, just like the laptop compartment has. So this has plenty of interior volume where it is absolutely gigantic. So let's see how much stuff I can fit in here, and I'll give you an idea of how much volume you can get out of this thing. So I wanted to really push this thing to the limit because of how big it is inside. So I have a totally full Peak Design large packing cube. I have a totally full Bag-Ale large packing cube. And I have a totally full Corsurf large packing cube. And it just swallows this up. So 3 large packing cubes that are compressible and packed to the brim can fit in here no problem, and there's still a ton of space, a butt ton of space. Then I just have my Eddie Bauer Stowaway 20-liter packable backpack. I'll shove that down the side. I have my Matador packable beach towel. I'll put that right next to it. I've got my Bellroy hanging toiletry kit, my favorite toiletry kit, although it's a little bit large. Stick that down the side. And I have my Thule Subterra 2 Power Shuttle, which is the largest tech pouch that I have. All of that fits in here, zero problems whatsoever, fitting everything in here, swallowing it up, and there's still room to put packable rain jackets, hats, water bottles, all kinds of stuff. You could fit 20 more things in here. So the size of this bag is absolutely absurd. And like I said, if you wanted to put this in the overhead, you just have to squish it so that it's within their dimensional limits, but you could definitely get away with it. I kind of like its like cubey shape that it gets, even though it's moderately formless when it comes to its materials. You still have the ability to keep it in kind of this cube format, and I think that's really nice, and I think it looks really cool, and it keeps kind of this form, even though the materials are more formless. It's stitched in a way and designed in a way where it still stays pretty cubey. So I really, really like this thing, and I really like the way it looks. And then when you're ready and it's all packed up, you can grab these 2 handles and do the little rivets like I mentioned, and just put them together. And then you are good to go. So look at how massive this thing is. I can't personally imagine walking through an airport with a bag this big. This is epically huge. And it's not really super comfortable, to be honest, to shoulder carry this. It's like so much weight that if you had this loaded out, I feel like it's unreal. I feel like this is more something that a kid would use as a hockey bag or something, or like I said, use in that garment mode, or maybe underpack it, put really lightweight materials in it, or keep it in your car as something to keep, like, you know, spare camping gear, a tent, a tarp, or medical gear, or tools. Use it as a tool bag, something like that. Using this as a travel bag, I don't personally see how that's possible or practical. If you have any comments about how that is possible or practical, please leave them below, because I am stumped on how anyone would use this as a travel bag other than in like a car for a road trip or something. That would make sense. Or if you're in a large family and you wanted to put all your gear together into one bag and check it, you could do that. But this is really unwieldy to carry around. And for someone like me who prioritizes personal item only travel, or small bags, things that are easy to get around a city with, things like that, I would personally never use this as a travel bag. I think it's an absolutely beautiful bag, and I would use it for a ton of other different things. I would keep it around, use it as a gym bag, throw it in my car to keep extra clothes, to keep emergency items, food, any kind of medical supplies. Or if I was traveling with multiple people and we wanted to throw all our stuff together, we could do that. If you want to check a bag like this to bring home a bunch of souvenirs or going to Japan or something, sure. But as a travel bag for an individual, I would probably never use it for that, just being honest. And for $350, I think it's slightly overpriced. I know EcoPack is kind of an expensive material. It has the nice leather. It has a lot of nice design elements, but it also has like these little key lanyards that are made of plastic, or these little plastic carabiners on the side with little loops. So it has some pieces that are not super premium or like high design, the way that something like a Peak Design or Gucci or something would have these like high premium hardware and materials to justify the huge price tag. This, I think, should be priced in like the $200 range. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm way off the wall. Let me know in the comments below. But I do think it's a really beautiful bag. And if it's something that fits your style or your lifestyle, and there's ways to use it that I haven't thought of, or I'm totally wrong about this, please leave a comment below. I love starting dialogue down there. I personally wouldn't probably buy this again for $350. I think it's a little bit too expensive, and it's something that I personally wouldn't use. So this may go into the gift, donate, or sell pile, just as a heads up. If you like duffel bag reviews, or you have other duffel bags that you would recommend for me, ones that you think are better, that fit my personal item only travel better, and you want me to review, please leave a comment below. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like videos like this, because it helps the channel out a lot. Thank you as always for watching. I sincerely appreciate it. And with all that being said, I will definitely see you in the next video. Take care.